speaker library and prototype library. These are all the prototypes. This will be a fun shot for you, probably. This is 6 years of prototyping right here. Wow. And just all kinds of different crazy amps we've done. There's one-offs here that we don't really make for sale. Like this is one I made for Richie Sambora. This is one for John Shanks, the producer. This is for a guy named Tomio Okuda in Japan, who's sort of like the Tom Petty of Japan. He's had like 11 straight #1 records over there. And just a lot of weird, you know, some of these are failed experiments. Some of them are very successful experiments, but they're fun.
Can you talk about a specific failed experiment? Your favorite failed experiment?
Wow, that's a good question. You know, on this one, the HRRA, it's called the Hard Rockin' Rock Amp. It was for a pro who I should probably not name. He doesn't like to have his name thrown around. But he wanted a high-gain version of our Monterey. And I went through 10 different iterations on this, and we were trying to figure out how can we make it, you know, sound like a big Marshall or something. And it just didn't work, and it just sounds like, can you say ass on your show?
Yeah.
It sounds like ass.
All right.
It's really, and if you look inside, I'm not sure what it looks like, but if you look inside, it's, well, this one's pretty tidy. Okay, this one, we cleaned it up, but yeah, some of these just look like a rat's nest. Let's see if I can find you. That's a pretty ugly one. Let's see, that one's pretty clean. Mike is, oh, here's a good ugly one. Yeah, here you go. This is a prototype Royal Albert. This was a successful experiment.
Whoa.
A little dirtier. This one's still not too bad. This was cleaned up enough that we could take it to a show and play it. You know, but you can see like black goop. You know, like just, hey, how do we get that capacitor to stop vibrating when we play? I don't know. Put some auto goop on it. Yeah. Prototypes. That's kind of fun. Let's see. Yeah, these have all been kind of somewhat cleaned up. That one's pretty complex.
Do you ever go back to formerly failed experiments?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We use these all the time because we'll get an idea. I mean, Peter and I have a dozen ideas in our head, so I don't want to release 12 amps in a year.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of confusing for the market. But Peter and I just literally like, what do you want to do next year in 2012? And, you know, we're constantly scheming. You know, Peter and I started doing this together in like the late 80s. We used to work at this music store in Atlanta. And everybody was trading in their old amps because they wanted to buy like JCM 800s and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh yeah, I'll take your old AC30. And, but we'd take it home and hop it up. And how do you make a Princeton sound like a Marshall? You know, that kind of thing. And Peter especially was really that before I was. I just like playing him and I'd be his little servant. Yeah, okay, I'll do this. And then I got the bug later when Cheryl started telling him that, look, man, I can't yell over your 100-watt Marshalls anymore. So he was using attenuators, which, you know, not always the ideal result.
Right.
And so we had to come up with low-powered stuff. And he's like, remember all that stuff we used to do in my basement? We hopped up with little amp pegs, and so it was great. Let's do something like that. And here we are, one big accident later. We have an amp company that's
all the low wattage amps. That's all the range. Right?
Well, I mean, they got this new thing now. It's called microphones.
Yeah.
You can put them on your guitar amp. And you don't have to damage your brain.
Yeah. They've got monitors.
Monitors. Some of them are in your ears. It's crazy. I just read about it. I don't know anything about it, but you know. So I like a 100-watt amp as much as anyone else. But if you're over the age of 25, it's really sort of, I don't want to say stupid, but it's not very practical to just destroy your brain because that's really what it does. You know, like I know so many guys that play gigs with ear filters in and plugs and. Like, why don't you just play a low-powered amp? Well, it doesn't sound the same. Like, how can you tell? You've got to, you know.
I can't feel it.
I play one of these. Oh, yeah, it sounds great. I don't have to wear it. Yeah, right, exactly. You know, we all come to, I mean, I'm over 40, and I just can't stand in the room with a 100-watt amp anymore. I have to wear shooting earmuffs. Mm-hmm. You know, like when we were testing this is a 100-watt that we were making for John Shanks for recording. You know, he's never going to be in the room with this amp. Mm-hmm. And it sounds fantastic. You know, it's the biggest Stevie Ray Vaughan, John Mayer type huge Fender Strat sound thing you've ever heard in your life. But you can't, we'd test it in here and I'd go home. My ears would ring for 36 hours. It's just crazy. So I don't know how guys do that anymore. But anyway, so yeah, this is a little bit of like past history. Just to give you an idea, this is probably a week's worth of bad tubes. Every week? Yeah, we just keep these because these are all returns. Don't look at names.
Pixelate them.
That's the tube business. You know, that's like, you know, when and we're really sticklers about our tubes. I buy pre-screened tubes, and then we have a curve tracer and all the stuff here, so we go even further with it.
Yeah.
And then there's noise. And then, like it looks great on the scope, but now do they make noise?
Right.
I can show you where we do that next door.
Cool.
Hey guys, say hi to Gearwire Magazine.